Let's be honest. In today's world, a video call is pretty much the new handshake. It's your first impression. And you could have the most amazing, brilliant ideas, but if your camera setup is a mess, your message just gets lost. The good news? Looking like a pro on camera is way easier than you think, and we're going to walk through exactly how to do it.
So just think for a second. Is that shaky camera, those weird shadows, or that up-the-nose angle actually getting in the way of what you're trying to say? Yeah, let's fix all of that starting right now.
All right, so here's the one thing you got to remember, and it's going to sound a little backward. Your actual camera, it's the least important part of this whole equation. Seriously, great lighting, clean audio, that's what really matters. So keeping that in mind, let's build your setup from the ground up.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, we're going to talk about the foundation, your gear. And I promise you, this is not about going out and spending a ton of money.
In fact, the absolute best tool for the job is probably sitting in your pocket right now. Modern smartphones have these incredible cameras with amazing autofocus and image processing. So yeah, a fancy dedicated camera is nice, but it is absolutely not required to look like a pro.
Now, this is maybe the most crucial choice you'll make, your lens. You have to avoid that default wide-angle selfie camera. You know the one, it makes your nose look huge and warps your face? No good. What you want is a 50mm equivalent lens. That's the sweet spot. It gives you a much more natural, flattering look because it's way closer to how our eyes actually see the world.
Okay, I'm going to be real with you on this one. This next piece of gear is completely non-negotiable. Get a tripod. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive, but you need one. A stable, lockdown shot just communicates professionalism and confidence. A shaky camera, it just screams amateur.
All right, so your gear is stable. Now what? Well, now we talk about how to actually use it. It's time to get into the art of composition and framing that perfect shot.
The single most important rule of framing is this: get that camera right at your eye level. I mean, think about it. Looking down at the camera can feel a little condescending, and looking up at it, well, it's just not a good look for anyone. An eye-level shot creates a direct, powerful, and really engaging connection. It's like you're talking to a person, not a machine.
Let's borrow a little trick from the art world, the rule of thirds. I want you to imagine a tic-tac-toe grid drawn right over your screen. Now, the natural instinct is to put yourself smack in the middle square, but don't do it. The goal is to line up your key features, especially your eyes, along those lines. It's a simple shift that makes a huge difference.
And the difference? Whoa, it's night and day. On the left, you see that static, boring mugshot style. But on the right, just by putting the eyes on that top line, the shot is instantly more dynamic, more interesting, and see how there is a little bit of space in the direction the person is looking? That's called looking room, and it just makes everything feel balanced and way more natural.
So, how close should you be? The ideal framing here is what we call a medium close-up. You basically want to be framed from the chest or shoulders up. This keeps the focus right on you and your message, and you don't have a bunch of distracting, empty space over your head.
All right, your gear is stable, your shot is framed. Now for the real magic. The #1 ingredient that separates the amateurs from the pros: lighting.
And you want to know the best part? The most effective pro lighting tip is 100% free. Just sit facing a window. Natural daylight acts like a giant, beautiful softbox. That's just a fancy term for a light that creates soft, even light. It's going to make you look absolutely incredible.
Now here's the cardinal sin of lighting on video. Whatever you do, never have a bright window or a bright lamp behind you. You'll just turn into a dark, mysterious silhouette. Your main light source, what we call the key light, always has to be in front of you, lighting up your face.
Now, if you want to take it to the next level, you can try out the classic 3-point lighting setup. Your key light is your main light, that window, for example. Then you'd add a fill light on the other side, just to soften up any shadows. And finally, a little backlight behind you helps separate you from the background and gives the shot a real, professional sense of depth. The most important thing with any of these lights is to make the light soft. Harsh, direct light, like a bare light bulb, creates these really unflattering shadows. But soft light is forgiving light. It just smooths everything out. You can do this so easily by bouncing a lamp off a white wall or even just putting a thin white sheet in front of it to diffuse the light.
Okay, we are almost there. We've got our lighting dialed in, so now we're ready for the final polish. Let's talk about a couple of quick camera settings and perfecting your background to really complete that professional look.
If you can control your settings manually, don't get scared by the numbers. It's actually pretty simple. First, your shutter speed. Set it to 1/50. This is just going to give you a smooth, natural-looking motion. Second, your aperture. You want a low f-stop number, like f2.8, or even lower if you can. This is the secret to getting that beautiful, blurry background that really makes you pop. And finally, ISO. Just keep this number as low as you possibly can to get a nice, clean, grain-free image.
But honestly, you can forget all those numbers if you don't get this one thing right: focus. Your eyes are what deliver your message, so they have to be perfectly sharp. Use your camera's continuous autofocus and make absolutely sure that little focus box is locked right onto your eyes.
And finally, you've done all this great work, right? Don't let a messy background sabotage the whole shot. A busy, cluttered space just pulls all the attention away from you. Keep it simple, keep it tidy. A plain wall, a bookshelf, maybe a plant, it works perfectly. Just remember, your background is part of your message, so make sure it's a good one.
And here's one last little pro tip to really take your look to the next level. Create some distance. The more space you can put between you and your background, the more that beautiful, professional-looking blur is going to pop. It makes you the clear, sharp focus of the entire shot.
So, before you hit that record button, just run through this final checklist. Is your camera stable on a tripod? Check. Is the lens at your eye level? Check. Are you framed up from the chest? Check. Is your main light hitting your face? Is your background tidy? Are your eyes in perfect focus? And, this is the most important one, did you do a quick test recording? Just a few seconds to make sure it all looks and sounds right.
You master these simple steps, and you're going to go from just being on camera to truly commanding the screen with a real professional presence. So, the only question left is, are you ready?